All right, and we are live here at the moment. So I'm hanging out here with Andy Shinn of EZ Repair Hotline, correct?
Yeah, thanks for having me on.
Yeah, you bet. So, Andy, tell me a little bit about EZ Repair Hotline and how you sort of got started.
Yeah, you bet. Well, EZ Repair Hotline takes maintenance calls and coordinates maintenance for property management companies. So that goes all the way from doing after-hour services to doing full service, just like you hired a maintenance coordinator that works 24 hours a day. We're always available, and we do everything with your vendors, but we are going to coordinate with the tenants, the vendors, make sure they show up for the appointments, and if they don't, we're going to do all the follow-up and ultimately take that process all the way through until the repair is actually concluded and the tenant actually says, yep, everything's done, everything's satisfactory and good to go. So that's kind of what we do as a company. It's really full service maintenance, but again, we've got starter programs for after hours as well. You asked how I got into it. Well, I guess that's kind of interesting. I spent a long career at AAA, the Auto Club, great company. Spent 20 years there. When I retired, I was an executive for AAA, and I managed road service, call receiving, and dispatching for 10 states. Well, at some point, I got the entrepreneurship bug. My wife and I were investors in real estate, and we decided we could start a property management company. And so we got licensed, and we did our 2 years under another broker, and we started our own company. And when I left AAA, I had to build up that company pretty quick because I was walking away from a salary. And so I had to figure out, how do I grow this company fast enough that we can replace our income? And the first thing I noticed was getting in the way of growth was handling maintenance calls. I remember early on literally walking on the porch of a new client I was about to meet when my phone rings. At that point, it was just us. And it's a tenant completely upset. As they said, their water heater exploded, which turned out to be a bit of an exaggeration, but I'm about to meet a new client, and all of a sudden I've got this major problem put on my right in front of me.
Right now.
Yeah, exactly. Immediately. Fortunately, I'm always early. I'm religiously early, so I was about 10 minutes early for that appointment, and I ran back to my car, got on my cell phone, and I ended up making 3 phone calls before I could get one of my handyman actually, to run right out there until the plumber could come out. And I said, okay, there's got to be a better way. If I'm growing a business, I can't be handling this. And I know this is the kind of thing property managers go through constantly. So anyway, I set up a process first for the handyman to help me with phone calls when I couldn't be there. And then later, we formalized the process with a virtual assistant company. But it was kind of expensive, and it wasn't what they did, wasn't their core expertise. Right. And I just went on being a property manager, and circumstances I'll tell you about caused me to move for really cool family reasons. And I said, boy, I'm going to sell my property management business, and we're going to start this up. And that's what I did. So, yeah.
Great. So what prompted you to sell your property management business?
Well, that's kind of funny. Sometimes things just fall into place. What happened, it's almost been 2 years. We got a phone call. My wife and I got a phone call from my stepson and our daughter-in-law saying they were pregnant. They were going to have our first grandchild, and they lived in Las Vegas, and we lived in Colorado, and so that was fine. And but as the pregnancy is going on, my wife and I talked, and we said, you know what, we've just got to be there. We just have to move there, and we didn't know how exactly, but we said we're going to do that, and we set that as our target to do that, and we moved and everything else. And I actually hired somebody to be a general manager for my company in Colorado. And then I got a call from a property management company, a guy that I'd dealt with before, had good relationships before. We'd actually benchmarked with each other before in Colorado. And he didn't even know I was going through this move. And he let me know that he was looking to buy a company. And I said, wow, your timing's perfect, because this is exactly what I need to do so that I can focus on this new opportunity.
So the stars aligned. And so this new business opportunity. So how long ago was this when you decided, hey, I'm going to get this entrepreneurial bug and start up my own business here? And how long ago did that take place?
Well, our property management company several years ago, but just a year ago, we started up the EZ Repair Hotline. And really what we what we did, we didn't know exactly what the business model looked like right away. We sort of knew there's a repair hotline involved, and what does that have to look like? So a little over a year ago, we set that up. I started, it's kind of interesting how we got our first client. I started making calls here in Vegas because I said, I want some information. I know as a property manager what I think about this, but I wonder what other insights I could get from property managers about, is this a good idea? Is there a demand for this? Is there a market for this? And so I started making cold calls just to see if I could get some interviews with property managers here in Vegas. And sure enough, I got 5 or 6, but the one of those interviews was with a property manager who said, "Oh my gosh, you're exactly what I've been waiting for. I need you right now." And I said, "Well, that's great. That's awesome. I don't have a service right now, but boy, if you're really interested, I'd love to meet with you. Maybe we can help each other out because you can help me build this process. You can give me feedback, and we can build this up to be something really cool." And he said, "Yeah." He said, "Count me in." So that's actually what we did last year. We spent the rest of the year. We actually found one other company who same thing, and those 2 companies here locally in Las Vegas helped us build an amazing process. And once we felt comfortable that we had it where we needed, January is really when we kicked off a national campaign to acquire property management clients. And it's been really exciting. I think there's a huge demand for this, and yeah, it's a great service.
Cool. So there's already some people kind of in this space, right? So there's like Property Meld and NightTenders, and Appfolio has added this service. And so tell me how you kind of see yourself fitting in the market with EZ Repair Hotline.
Yeah, you bet. Our core product is a full service, all hours maintenance coordination. So I think you'll see other products that are out there that may provide that or may not provide that, but their focus is maybe more on the after hours part and the emergency stuff. And we do that. I'll do that for somebody who wants us to do that. But we're really there to be like an extension of your company and your entire maintenance department, just like if you'd have hired an outstanding employee to handle your maintenance, except we're a lot less expensive than hiring that employee, but we're providing same outstanding service. The thing about, look, Appfolio's call center is a bargain for what they charge and what they provide. It's a good service, but it's not full service. And it's not what you're looking for if you want to have your maintenance coordinated. You want to have all the follow-ups done. That's what we're doing. So I think we're doing something that's a little bit different than what other companies are doing, and we have a level of expertise. Without going into too much detail about our internal process, we have 2 positions essentially, key staff positions. One is the call receiver, the first person that tenant talks to. These people are super friendly. They're working on a script. Script helps them identify potential situations where we don't really need to send somebody because we can talk the tenant through a GFI reset or something like that, right?
Right. Okay.
But the second position is a specialist. All of my specialists are property management experienced, and they see every call that we get. It might just be a glance and say, "Yep, it looks like they got it to the right place, and I'm going to follow up in a couple of days." Or it might be, "Hey, I'm taking a look at this. I'm going to call the tenant because I've got an idea here that we can save a service call." Or maybe I need to talk to the tenant about potential tenant responsibility on this issue. And so all of my specialists are property management experienced. I don't think you're just not going to find that anywhere else. And that's how we built our model. So we're going after full service, super expertise. You just can't get this anywhere else. And you certainly can't get, well, we're providing a full service for this price. We've got a really slick, really efficient and effective business model.
Great. And you had mentioned before we hopped into this conversation that you have some sort of connection also to Property Meld, who we've had on the DoorGrow show before. Yeah,
that's kind of cool how that came about. I got a response on a Facebook post for our company, and the response I don't remember exactly, but it was something like, you should look at Property Meld. And my take on the response was like, Property Meld's a competitor. And so I went on their website and I said, well, this is a pretty slick product they've got here. It's really, we went through a work order software search just a few months ago, and I was like, where were these guys then? I would love to have seen this before. So I ended up chatting with their customer representative folks and eventually getting in touch with Ray, the CEO. And we started talking, and we said, in a sense, maybe we're competing because we're competing for the same customers, but there's a fit here. Their product, our service, really there's an exceptional fit. So yeah, we're doing a combo product. I love their work order management software because not only does it help us with kind of that efficiency model I was talking to you about, but it also gives an arm of communication with the vendor and the tenant. Just about the time that Ray and I finally were first hooked up, one of my clients had been asking me, do you have a product, or do you know of a product where we can do online scheduling with our vendors and tenants? And so I looked at the software product that we were using, which is a good product. I mean, we had done that search a few months ago, but it just didn't have that kind of connectivity and communication ability that we wanted. And so we introduced that client to Property Meld, and they said, wow. So I said, okay, we've got something here. So Ray and I put together a package, and our products fit really well together. They're a fantastic product. We've got a fantastic service.
That's really great. So would people sign up through Property Meld, or would they sign up through EZ Repair, or how does that work if they want this cool combo that you've got going with them?
Yeah, well, we've got a partnership between the two companies, so either way is good with me. But you can actually sign up on either through either company, so through EZ or through Property Meld. And if they go on to our site at EZ, they'll see the full service options, kind of all inclusive. If they go to Property Meld, they'll see the Property Meld product by itself, and then what's the upgrade to the full service management. The pricing's essentially the same. But so either way is great, and they're going to get an awesome product out of it.
Yeah, that's fantastic. Sounds like you're really adding some value to the space. So I'm curious about the call reps. So property managers are always thinking like, who's handling these phone calls? Because you're going to be representing my company.
Yeah.
And I think Ray sort of talked about that a little bit, but maybe you could expand on that and just share, like, how do they represent the company, and where are these people, and do they have crazy heavy foreign accents and all this kind of stuff?
Yeah, well, I mentioned that I had a little background with the Auto Club, and like the Auto Club, all of our call receivers are 100% here in the U.S. Call receivers. So they're fantastic reps, because their design, or their primary function, is to be super friendly, to de-escalate situations, because sometimes a tenant is freaking out because water's spraying somewhere, and we've got to settle them down so that we can walk them through turning off the water or whatever step they need to take. So they're really good at those types of soft service skills. Anybody who gets off the phone with one of our agents is going to feel better after they hang up, because that's the kind of agents we present. You know, I told you about my experience at AAA, and I just want to tell you how that fits with what we're doing with our company. I hope your viewers have a good impression of AAA. I think it's one of the best service organizations in the country. And what we did at AAA is we had a very similar model, in the sense that we had a call receiver taking that call, going through a script, but providing extraordinary customer service and de-escalating. Again, even with road service, there's times you've got to settle things down a step. And then at the next level, there's a specialist, and that was a dispatcher at AAA, and that person's got to make sure that the initial call went well. So we've got that front end call receiver, but they're not as experienced as dispatcher. Dispatcher looks at the call and says, did we do everything right there? And then they get involved with all the follow-up, make sure the truck gets there on time. You know, that process is between the call receiver and specialist at AAA was, maybe a 45-minute process. And in this industry, that's a few days or a couple of weeks, but it's a real similar process. We've got just outstanding customer service agents on the front end, and then super experts at the specialist level to make sure that everything goes as it should.
So the property managers, what are some of the most common questions that they're going to ask you when they call you up and they're interested in your service? So let's answer those now, so that people listening or watching this could get that information. What do people typically ask?
Yeah, you bet. Besides the one we just talked about, where are your agents? We get that a lot. Besides that, it's what about those calls that don't really need a service call or aren't really an emergency? So, and we talked a little bit about that earlier, but they want to know that I'm not sending out their handyman who's going to charge them $75 to go reset the GFI or to crank a garbage disposal or something like that we could have walked the tenant through over the phone. So that's probably the number one question I get is, are you going to save those service calls that when I have a property management manager on the phone, we don't actually end up sending service? Can you do that too? Yeah, absolutely. Not only can we do it too, but I think we can do it more consistently than most companies, because we've got a whole system and format around how to do that. And the second is emergency calls. People call, it's Saturday night, and they're calling with something that is not really an emergency, and they want to know that I'm not calling their vendors out, and they're getting a $200 emergency service fee because something that really could have waited until Monday, the dishwasher's not working or something like that, and they want to know that we're not sending out emergency service on that. And emergency service is a great one because we've got our own internal rules that skew towards send service if the house is in danger, if there's going to be additional damage to the house. Otherwise, let's wait till next business days. But the thing is, we actually have a sit down with the client, and they can tailor some of those rules. They might say, you know what, where we're at, I really think this particular kind of call is an emergency. Go ahead and add that to your list, and we can customize that for them. So those are the questions primarily we get. They want to know that their tenants are going to be on the phone with professional property management industry personnel and people who know what they're doing and how to handle. And sometimes, I talked about our full service. It's actually an option that not only do we do everything, we'll even handle the communication with your homeowner to get the approvals with your homeowner and all that. So certainly we get a lot of questions about, hey, you're going to be on the phone with my homeowner. Are they going to be impressed by you because you're representing my company? And yeah, absolutely. So those are the kinds of questions we get. And we got a super, I talked about super friendly front end staff, but we got a really well educated and expert level specialist staff. Those are the people who are talking to the homeowners. Those are the people who are doing all the follow up. So those are the kind of questions we get, and I think we've got good answers for those. We're providing a really good product, and me as a former property manager, it's got to meet that standard. My company was, one of the highest. I tell people we were the largest property management company in Colorado Springs not to have a negative online review, and you don't get that by doing things halfway. You get that by really focusing on what does your service have to look like, how do you treat customers, and that's what we brought to this business. So everything we do, every process we create, I'm looking at it from a standpoint of, as a property manager, would I have accepted this kind of performance? And not only would I have accepted it, would I have thought this was outstanding performance?
Fantastic. It sounds keenly interesting. I think there's several clients of my own that would be interested in a service like this. And I love that it integrates with Propertyware. Or I mean, not Propertyware, but Property Meld.
Meld.
Yeah, Property Meld. And
the other thing, and if I can just, on that linkage, if I could just throw in, because people ask us about this too, the Property Meld, we key into that, but we also key into that property manager's software system. So here's a situation where, let's say you're using Buildium, for example, but you really like what Property Meld does, but you'd love to have everything in one system in Buildium. Well, we're bringing that all together because yes, we're gonna do duplicative work. We're going to update your work orders in Buildium, and you're still going to get the benefits of Propertyware. Your tenants and vendors are still going to be able to communicate through Property Meld, and here's Buildium still getting updated. So we're doing all of that for you. It's almost like having an integrated system.
Fantastic. All right, did we miss anything? Is there any other unique differentiators?
I get excited when I talk about this. You can probably tell, but I think really the service that we provide and the level of expertise we're providing is certainly unique, and the pricing. And look, we're not trying to compete on price, but the fact is we have a very efficient business model. I got experience, executive level experience at a company AAA that has to be super efficient. If you know what a membership costs, you know that we've got to be super efficient to be able to deliver what we deliver. I built processes at AAA, and I built the process here. Nobody can match what we do for the price.
Yeah, anybody that's followed me for any period of time knows that I'm a big fan of leveraging services and systems before you go out and start hiring people. And if somebody can offhand the role of a maintenance coordinator and all the communication and time involved in coordinating maintenance and phone calls and talking with vendors, using a service like yours in collaboration with Property Meld or these sort of things, they can save themselves the cost of a single employee at least annually. And that is a big cost savings. Usually
it's huge when you think about benefits and payroll taxes and everything else that goes into having an employee. But I'll tell you, it's cost, and I know people don't believe that because you're outsourcing. It's service. You're going to get better service than you could ever hire to. You don't have to hire somebody and hope that works out. You're working with a company that knows how to deliver superior service to your tenants and to your homeowners when you want that package as well.
Yeah, I see the advantage as being your service and Property Meld service, these companies are focused on one thing. They're focused on doing a really good job at handling the maintenance coordination, handling the maintenance, the emergency, the after hours maintenance, and having one person on your staff trying to coordinate all of that and do as good of a job versus an entire company with that focus, with systems, processes, procedures, and expertise. It's not going to be the same. And so, yeah, I recommend they check you out. So how would they get a hold of you? How would they check you guys out?
Yeah, you bet. Our website is easy. The letters EZ Repair Hotline LLC.com, and they can find some really great information on there. We've got a good blog with some really interesting posts about the industry or about customer loyalty and customer satisfaction. So a lot of interesting reading on there. And they can always call us at our main office, 800-488-6032. And you can reach us anytime, even though that's the main office number, we answer all the time. And this is a 24-hour business, just like property management can be a 24-hour business. And yeah, we're always available. Somebody's always on call.
Cool. So, all right, great. So get in touch. You can check them out at EZ Repair Hotline LLC.com.
That's right.
All right, great. And what's your number one more time?
Yeah, it's 800-488-6032.
All right, 6032.
Yep.
Okay, great. Well, cool. Andy, I appreciate you coming out and hanging out here with me online, and I wish you success.
Jason, this has been great. Thanks for having me on.